Welcome to a brand new episode of the Problematic Sticker Anime Podcast. I am your host today, Gary. Welcome me to the podcast.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Did I have my money back?
Thank you. My subjects have responded finally. The first one, Chris, welcome to my podcast. How are you?
Yay! I'm so happy to your podcast. All right, I see how it is. Okay, good to be here on Gary's podcast.
See, was that so hard? Just agree with me. Everybody goes home happy.
I'm starting to learn that that's the sad truth.
Oh my God. You're welcome.
Like much of America, I've given in, and I'm just too tired to keep going.
Yeah, that's what happens. How's the anime been for you, though?
Anime's been great. I have been focusing on the fairy tale this week still.
Ooh, how far are you?
I finished out the Tenrojima.
Remind me what happened in that arc?
The island that they are the S class rankings on.
Ah, yes, where Guildarts fights the gravity guy.
Yep,
and...
Guildarts versus Blue Note.
Yep.
Yep.
And Lucy gets thrown into precarious situations because of a voodoo doll.
Oh, all the time.
Good times, man.
God, that was still such a great episode.
You had to be there. You had to be there.
Yes.
Also joining us, Ben. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. How has the animes been for you?
Not bad. I've watched the 7 Deadly Sins. All of it. All of it.
All technically 3 seasons, but it should only be 2.
Yeah. I only saw 2 listed on our Netflix.
Really? Did they cut it into 2?
Yeah, the 1 season's really long.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But yeah, I watched all of it. It was
I'm
good.
happy to hear, man. I'm happy to hear.
Yes.
And coming back, Klaus is back.
Hi.
The Nightbringer has returned from raiding.
Bringing the night. Yes, and stuff.
And stuff.
Good to be back.
Now?
To my podcast.
To your podcast. Someone's getting removed right about now.
No.
How's
good.
the
Chris.
anime been for you?
It's been pretty good. I actually watched an anime this last week called Dragon Pilot on Netflix. It's actually pretty cute. So if you guys like that kind of thing,
you just had to say cute. Chris is already on the 5th episode. Probably.
To be honest, as soon as I saw it, I put my watch list. And
when you got some time, go binge it. You'll enjoy.
Yes, you put cute in it, so yes, I now will go watch it.
The art style is absolutely amazing. It's kind of watercolor, and it's really nice. It's got that really good hand-drawn look to it. There's, I believe, just the tiniest bit of CG, but it's blended in well. I thought it was a well-done thing. And who knows, maybe it's one we'll recommend sometime in the future. But like I said, I just wanted to talk about it because it is a newer one on Netflix. But like I said, I had watched 7 Deadly Sins actually right after I recommended it and then took a break. So I'm having to see if I can remind myself exactly what happened on it.
Chris is very good at remembering the small things. So
yeah.
And Ben is fresh too, so he'll remember stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, I watched it on Monday, so freshish.
I mean, nothing really matters. All we do is just going to talk about Escanor because he's the greatest thing that happened in that whole show.
Yeah,
he sure is a thing.
But yeah, well, we have some news to get into a little bit here and there. I guess we can start off with the big one. Hulu and Funimation have come to a deal, a multi-year partnership that will see pretty much a massive library coming to Hulu from Funimation anime. Yeah, we know they ended their partnership with Crunchyroll and VRV, so all of Funimation stuff is going to be leaving VRV, and all of its dubbed anime is going to be leaving Crunchyroll. So Crunchyroll is still going to have Funimation anime that Funimation produces, but it's just going to be subtitled, which is fine for a lot of people.
It kind of sucks though, because they've confirmed they're removing the Dragon Ball Super dub from the English version of Hulu. So
what?
Yeah, there will be no English version of Dragon Ball Super here
on Crunchyroll.
On Hulu, you know,
but
when
you
they
don't
move
have
it over.
Hulu. But you don't have Hulu over there.
Well, supposedly we're getting it next year, aren't we?
Yeah, you are.
But they've said that they're not bringing over Super with it.
Oh, maybe it's the licensing thing with. I don't know if Funimation produces it in the UK. I think somebody else does it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but yeah, this is, I think, a very huge deal. I think this is a big blow to Crunchyroll, because in this deal, Hulu now gets early access to animes that are only going to come to Hulu and not Crunchyroll. So this might actually hurt Crunchyroll in the long run. This is a big deal. Crunchyroll, not Crunchyroll, sorry. Hulu is going to get semu dubs of both, semu dubs, of pretty much every anime that they're going to get on their network from now on. So both English and Japanese will appear day and day from the way it sounds, which is a better deal that you're getting with Funimation, which is usually 4 episodes behind on their dubs sometimes. But yeah, what do you guys think of this huge deal? Chris, let's start with you. Or not. Klaus, let's start with you.
It's another service that I can't afford to get. Let's just put it that way. The way that, I appreciate the fact that these companies are trying to get anime out to the masses in different ways, but they're splitting it up in so many different aspects that it's impossible to really get all the anime that you want without having 20 different services. Mm-hmm. And I guess that part's somewhat frustrating to me. It would be kind of nice if there was a way we could get it in a, like a package kind of deal. But I don't know. People are going to have to be a little more selective with where they end up putting their streaming dollars, I think. And a lot of it's going to depend on what type of content is available. Like, is what Netflix offers going to be good enough for most people? Are people going to switch from Netflix to Hulu over this? If their main type of content that they want is anime, or are people going to find another source?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's one of those things where now, like, if you look at it, you don't really need to have both Funimation and Hulu, I guess, because if all of Funimation stuff is going to Hulu, then what's the point? I'm not saying all of it is going to go to Hulu, but pretty much all the newer stuff, I think, is going to appear on both.
When does it start?
I don't think they have a thing here. Sometime next year. Yeah, there's no specific date on when this all starts, or if it's already started, so... And it's also important to know now that because Disney's moving in, Hulu is owned, I believe, by a subsidiary of 20th Century Fox. And since Disney has now bought 20th Century Fox, Hulu is under their umbrella. So who knows what's going to happen there, because...
Disney's coming out with their own streaming service.
Yeah, which I was under the assumption they're just going to take what Hulu was and just turn it into Disney Plus and just remove the Hulu name. But now if they're going to have 2 streaming services, it'll be interesting because Disney is a very family-friendly network, so I don't think they'll want to have like an Attack on Titan on their network.
But they also have
some Disney stuff that's not completely child-friendly, so I could see like Hulu being like their more adult service, with Disney being like a separate service. And I can see them doing like each one separate subs, but then also have a bundle which cheaper, which you give both. They'll advertise it for for the parents and for the kids.
That could be a Netflix killer.
Yeah.
If it's priced right.
Yeah.
It could, since Netflix is really pushing their anime right now with all the announcements they've been making, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But Ben, what is your take on this?
If we get Hulu, good. I guess I'll get Hulu. If we don't get Hulu, screw them, because then we won't get Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Disney said that once their acquisition is complete, they're going to expand Hulu to the UK.
Yay.
You're good. You're good.
All it took was waiting a bajillion years.
It's weird that Hulu wasn't over there. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's because they have so many live shows that appear on Hulu the day after they air. So maybe it's
probably licensing
with Skype and BBC over there. You never know.
Yeah, they couldn't dub the Big Green dub at the same time as the normal dub. So,
but now you're gonna get those dubs, the regular dubs, the real dubs, on your streaming service of Hulu.
Possibly.
Alrighty. Unfortunately, Chris had to leave due to family stuff, so we've lost him. He's a poo-poo head. I still love him. But yeah, let's then, I guess, move on to the big Netflix news. Netflix announced that they are getting Neon Genesis Evangelion on their network starting next year. I think it's spring of next year. I don't think they gave an exact date. I think it's spring. From my knowledge and the way they talked about it, I believe this is the first time the show is appearing on a streaming service. So this is a big get because Neon Genesis is a very, very much beloved anime and manga, and this is a huge news, I think. I don't know if you guys ever seen it. I've never seen it personally. I've always wanted to. I just couldn't afford the $60 DVDs for 3 episodes that they sold that thing on.
Yeah.
I never saw it either.
I had friends who had it in college, so yes, I was able to watch it.
Nice.
And it is, a lot of people think of it as one of the classic, series for the robot, the Gundam style robots, big giant mechanical marvels that fly throughout space and battle,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's definitely, and it's very dark. It's very dark.
From what I hear, yeah, it's very dark. It's got a very, I guess, religious theme as well, from what people have told me. So, might move some heads, might raise a little eyebrows. But it is coming to Netflix. It's a huge gift for Netflix. It's not just the anime that's coming; it's also the movies as well. So you're getting the whole package. This is a big
Netflix
initiative.
Now £50 a month.
No, this is a big push by Netflix to bring in a lot more anime. They said they're going to start doing this, I believe, earlier in the year. They said that anime is going to be a big focus for them going forward. That's why I've seen a lot of anime-produced Netflix-produced anime, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
appearing on their network lately.
Oh, yeah.
Some of it good, some of it not so good, as we've learned. We've watched some of them.
Sword Guy.
Yeah.
Hey, there have been worse things than Sword Guy. Not many.
Klaus.
But yeah, I guess we should quickly recap too. They have announced that Netflix themselves are working on a live-action Cowboy Bebop series, which I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's always a risk doing live-action anime adaptations. We've noticed that with quite a few things, but I think Death Note has been the big one.
Death Note was probably the worst one. The Bleach movie was pretty good.
Yeah, but the Bleach movie was
that's why I
already
hear the
made
Bleach
in
one
Japan,
is the best one. Yeah,
Bleach was made
as was Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, that one was well done as well.
So we'll see how this goes. It'll be interesting if they keep it a Japanese cast, if they'll hire actors from different countries. We'll see what happens.
As long as it's better than the Dragon Ball movie.
I think you can anything. Yeah, anything is better than that.
As long as they actually have the plot of the show in the movie, they're good.
They good. Alrighty. The other big news is Netflix is also getting their own. They're producing their own Ghost in the Shell anime. This is, I believe, called Ghost in the Shell SAC_2045. This is going to be directed by the director of Appleseed, and it'll also be actually co-directed by the director of Appleseed and Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. So they have a team. It's looking like it's going to be 3D, so that might turn off a lot of people. We'll see. But Ghost in the Shell still very popular, still a groundbreaking anime back when it came out. So some more big news.
They're looking at a 2020 release for that.
Yes, 2020 release. I would imagine with all the CG they're going to have to put into it if it's going to be 3D.
Give it a good amount of time, though. It deserves. It's a good anime.
Yeah. I believe it's Kenji Kamiyama that is the director of the standalone complex. He's also working on the Blade Runner anime as well. So that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So much good stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, the huge push. These are big licenses that Netflix is getting here. Ghost in the Shell, obviously, one of the biggest ones you can get. But yeah, those I think is all the news in the anime.
Hey, I also found out that Dragon Ball Super will air on the 23rd of January. Well, the Broly movie, select cinemas in England.
Yes, and that is a special day, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, because that's my birthday, so I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah, baby.
I'm gonna have to go to Hull.
It's your birthday and you wanna have fun.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go get disappointed with Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Why would you go disappointed?
Because we all know what happens.
You already know what happened. I don't know what happens. You know what happens. But yes, there probably will be some disappointment.
Kamehameha?
And fusions and Dragon Balls are involved.
Yeah.
I don't think
Fusion is in it? What?
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong Fusion.
Fusion X makes an appearance.
Hi, Fusion.
Oh my god. I don't think there is any Dragon Ball news to talk about today.
Not really, no.
You mean I don't get a nap?
Nope, no nap today. No nap for you. I guess we should get into the big topic this week. We're not going to do our weekly shows, but we're going to go straight into the 7 deadly sins.
We're almost going to have a whole episode dedicated to just to catch up on the weeklies, I think.
Yeah. I don't know, we're kind of ahead anyway. So we're about because we did last week's Boruto, so.
Okay. So you did talk about it, because that was, about a month's worth?
Yeah. We did, talk a little bit each week. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. 7 deadly sins. My recommendation from how many years ago?
72
2 years.
About 3 weeks, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes.
All right. So this is an anime series that is available on Netflix. It talks about the a lady named what is her name? Elizabeth, who is trying to save her kingdom by gathering together the strongest knights in the land, a legendary group known as the 7 Deadly Sins. Quite the moniker to give the strongest knights in your land, isn't it? Calling them sins.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so 7 deadly sins, and these are supposed to be the good guys. But she ends up going to this little tiny pub in the middle of the forest and meets with a very short barkeep and a talking pig, and tells them of what she wants to do her plan to try and find the 7 deadly sins, and this little guy's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'll help. And she's like, oh, that's nice, but I don't know what you can do to help me out. It's like, oh, I'm Meliodas. And she's like, what? So it's kind of funny how that's how they start the series. The little guy is the leader of the 7 deadly sins. And he is a character.
My favorite character.
Meliodas
he's not.
He is.
Meliodas is the best character, I think. I think he's hilarious. He'll tell it how it is. He is very straightforward, and he is absolutely enamored with Elizabeth and many of her parts.
Especially her boobies.
Well, everything. I mean, he's very, 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 very touchy-feely with her.
He's hands-on.
You're not wrong, and it gets worse in the second half of the show too.
Yeah. Or
Hilarious.
better, it depends on your view.
Very true. So where do we want to start with this? Other than, like I said, the show starts there, but the story of the 7 deadly sins is a very different starting point. Do we want to start there, or?
We talked about the first season.
Yeah, we covered most of season 1 though. We could do it. Yeah.
I think we can start off at the end of season 1 and just go into season 2.
Yeah.
So basically, at the point where they blow up that castle, and but the lock to the what do they call the demon realm, or
Yeah.
Trying to remember what exactly they call that. All we know is that the sword handle that Meliodas had been carrying around all throughout the first season ended up being a part of the key to unlock the seal, which is, I think, part of the reason why he was carrying it around, to try and keep everybody from getting it and putting the seal back together. Let me see if I can find more information here. I was just on a general page to kind of remember whatever all was going on.
Oh, you're fine. No, yeah. So they defeated what's his name? See, I don't remember his name. Well, they defeated the big bad, and we kind of find out that the whole goal here is to revive the demons, the 10 Commandments, as they're called, the 10 Commandment Demons, from age long past. And we know that the demons were defeated by...
I think it was 3,000 years ago, if I'm rightly.
Yep, it was about 3,000 years in the past by a collaboration of the goddess race, the humans, and the elves.
The elves, yes. So yeah, their combined strength were able to defeat the demon realms, seal up the Demon King, and the 10 Commandments, the Demon King's 10 Commandments. And they've essentially been waiting for their revival for this entire time. And we find out that though not one of the 10 Commandments, one of the demons survived and has been hiding inside the body of God, what is his name?
That
Trying to
guy.
remember. I don't.
Oh man, see, we suck at names, man.
It wasn't that guy. I was thinking it wasn't Hendrickson. It wasn't Gil Thunder.
No, it was like their master.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what his name is as well. I see him in my head, but I cannot recall what his name was.
Dreyfus.
Okay. Yes,
that he wasn't. The demon hiding inside him is not one of the demons of the 10 Commandments. But
originally, he wasn't.
No,
he was a substitute, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, so he survived, and he has been planning this entire thing for a very long time.
2 whole days.
No, he's been planning it for years and years and years.
I prefer my canon.
Millennia.
From what?
For millennia.
Yeah. To revive the Ten Commandments and have them come back and rule the world and get their revenge. And that's essentially... Yeah, of course. That's what demons do. And that's essentially what Season 2 focuses on, is their revival and Meliodas trying to get the 7 deadly sins back together, all of them completely back together to pretty much defeat the 7 deadly sins, because he knows that, because he was there during the battle the first time, of just how powerful they really are, and that the 7 deadly sins, though considered incredibly powerful now, are pale in comparison to even the weakest demon of the 10 Commandments. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this season, and we learn a lot about specific characters. Obviously, especially Meliodas. I guess we can just go into it then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we find out that Meliodas is actually a demon, and he was one of the 10 Commandments. He was their best, and he was set to take over as the next Demon King until he betrayed them because he fell in love. As every story goes. No, it wasn't with boobies. He fell in love with a woman.
And her boobies.
Oh my god.
But also her boobies.
Fine. And her boobies. And he betrayed them. And that's what led to the defeat of the 10 Commandments, is he was just too damn powerful. And we know that Merlin was there during this battle as well. And we also find out very much later into the anime that Merlin is a lot more powerful. Yeah, she's a lot more powerful than we ever thought possible of that character. And she's also someone that they hinted at, but they never really gave us an answer. She's the daughter of, I don't remember the name they called her.
I can't remember. Her name can't be said by, it can't be understood by humans.
Only demons and other races can understand. Humans cannot understand it. But once some of the 2 demons, especially Dreyfus, found out who she was, they freaked out.
Yeah.
And
badly.
They were absolutely terrified. And we find out that her magic, her true power, is to be able to control time. And obviously that is ridiculous, and that's how she's been able to stay so young for so long, is she's able to use her magic. Yes.
She stopped time for herself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In order for her to be able to continue her experiments. Yeah. Her goal is to learn everything. She is the Orochimaru of 7 Deadly Sins. Really, she is.
Yeah.
He wants to know everything in the Naruto universe. She wants to know everything in this universe.
Yeah, and we also know that she is the one who took Meliodas' true power because he became too wrathful, because he's the sin of wrath. And he became very bloodthirsty when he used this power, so she took it away from him to keep him from becoming pretty much a serial killer, a psychotic, genocidal, crazy path.
Not on his own, not for his own fault, just because of his nature. You know what I mean?
Because he's a demon. Yeah.
His demonic nature was getting too strong, and she needed to lock it away, which lowered his strength, but improved his demeanor, and we get the lovable little guy that we have through most of the series.
But we also learn with Meliodas is he's technically immortal, but not really. So one of the big plot points that we learn here is that when Meliodas dies, which he does in this massive battle against, I believe it's 7 of the deadly sins he fights by himself. Starts off with a battle with 2, and then the other ones show up and they just own him.
It's his brother that ends up basically taking him down, and
because he has the same power that Meliodas does. He has full counter.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Meliodas was going to kill all of them with one blow using his revenge counter as he until Meliodas' brother stopped him.
Yeah.
I
always thought that his brother was a different form of full counter. To me, it looked like Meliodas is mainly magical full counter. I feel like his brother is a physical full counter. At least that's what it said to me. I didn't really see him ever block any magic attacks with his full counter.
I don't know, because we'll get to when he fought Escanor a little bit later. But he used his full counter against Escanor, and it kind of backfired on him.
Well, yeah, because of the fact that it was magic based.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not sure though. I think maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's how he was able to stop the revenge counter. Yeah, I don't know. But essentially, every time Meliodas dies, he goes to Purgatory. And in Purgatory, he has to defeat the Demon King in order to come back to life. Like, it's a curse that he has. And if he fails to defeat the Demon King comes back in his place. But every time Meliodas comes back, he loses a piece of himself, and he becomes more wrathful.
Well, actually, he remembers more of his past.
Oh, is it he remembers more of his past? Okay.
I believe that's what it is, and he gets more of that wrathful nature.
Mm. So either way, it's hurting him, but he has to keep doing it to keep the Demon King from coming back.
But it can only last for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he only has so many times that he can die before basically the Demon King will end up winning one way or the other. Either the Demon King will come out or Meliodas will basically become the Demon King.
I don't know. There's always, with stuff like that, there's always ways around.
Yeah, don't die.
I mean, that's a tip you should give a lot of people, but I feel like...
So we need to tell Meliodas hashtag get good? Avoid the AoEs? Don't stand in the poop?
Put it in your butt.
Oh my god. The other big reveal we got in season 2 was about Gother, who we find out is actually kind of a puppet. He's not really human. And all he wants to do is to feel. He has no heart, so he can't feel. So he does some really messed up stuff in the beginning of the season.
Yes and no.
Well, we find out what he really is later on as well.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. We know so because of his nature, he essentially forces Deanne to forget everything.
Yeah.
So as she finally remembers how much she loves King, she forgets. And she forgets so much that she actually, the only person she remembers is Meliodas and her giant race, the people that she lived with. Damn it. Seriously, man.
Well, she does. Remember that was the best fan service scene where he was squashed in between them. I know.
I don't remember that giant's name. Oh, here it is. Matrona. Yeah, so we kind of got a backstory for Deanne about the giant race and who she was. But yeah, she essentially starts to forget everything up to that point, so she decides to run away and go back to Matrona and the giants.
Well, because she forgets everything that had happened for the past 16 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is really sad. And her story arc in season 2 really isn't that big, I guess. She doesn't play a very big role in season 2. We also know that Bon, he leaves the Deadly Sins at the beginning of the season because he goes back to his quest to revive the fairy, Elaine. And he's going back to the fairy kingdom, and King decides to join him, which kind of makes Deanne sad because this is the time where she finally remembers how much she loves King.
Yeah.
But he leaves, so she doesn't think he's going to come back now, like he didn't come back before. But so we get the story with Bon and how the fairies call him King now instead of the actual King.
Because he is cooler.
Yeah, and King pretty much abandoned them because he thought they were all dead. The forest kingdom was destroyed. The fairy kingdom, I should say. But yeah, and he gets a new companion that's also in love with him, who he saved in the first season. I believe her name was something.
How about that something?
I want to say Elizabeth, but I don't think that's right.
No, Elizabeth is the one that's in love with Meliodas.
Oh, that was it, yeah.
But anyway, so this girl that he saved in the first season, she joins up with him and King as they go to the fairy kingdom. And they have their own little adventure. But yeah, going back to Gother, we find out that Gother was also one of the demons. A very, very powerful one. And he's also a demon who has completely forgotten himself and who he is. From the way I understood it. And it was Fraudrin, the demon that possessed Daphus, that took his place as the next Ten Commandment Demon because Gother essentially vanished. Nobody knew what happened to him because he had forgotten who he was. So that was a huge story development that we learned about Gother, is that he's also one of the demons, and apparently Meliodas didn't even know that he was a demon.
Or didn't remember.
Or didn't remember, yeah. So they found that out. Yeah, and then I think the big character that came into play was obviously Escanor. He was the last member of the Seven Deadly Sins. We didn't get to see him in Season 1. He finally made his appearance in Season 2. And his first appearance is this scrawny old man who's a barkeep, who's afraid of everything. And he helps Bon, and his companion, King, had left him at this point after a big battle with these giant golem things that the demons control. King had used pretty much all of his power to kind of put a stop to them, and to the one that was attacking the Fairy King's forest. And King went back to Meliodas, where he found out about Deanne, who at this point had run away, whereas Bon remained, Bon went off to still kind of find a way to bring back Elaine in some way or form. And it was at this point where Bon encountered... What's the demon's name? He was my favorite demon, Galland. Galland was awesome. I loved Galland. It was Galland and God, what was her name? Can't even find it here.
The one who did all the souls?
Yeah.
That would be Malescula.
Malescula, yes.
The one with the cloud around her kind of reminded me of the Cloud of Darkness.
Yes. Bon encounters those two, and Bon, though he's immortal, he can be seriously wounded. And we saw this happen in this fight. Bon is pretty much ambushed by the revival of Elaine, who Malescula revived. She started to revive people who had died before, but they all came back with like vengeance in their hearts.
Because there was something in their life that they regretted not finishing.
Okay, yeah. So she came back and she attacked Bon, and she attacked him because she thought everybody was jealous, or everybody wanted Bon, and she became super jealous. so she obviously attacks his new companion that's with him, and then she attacks him, and Bon is able to essentially get her under control by talking to her. And that's when these two demons attack them, and Gowland like just destroys Bon, but Bon obviously can't die, so he just keeps reviving himself, and Gowland can't understand it. But it wasn't up until Molaskus came in.
I think it was Gowland that I loved his special passive ability as well, where if you told a lie, you could be turned to stone. Yes,
so you cannot lie to Gowland, and he can't lie to you either.
Yeah.
Which is it's a curse. So all the Ten Commandments have a curse. That's their power. So it's a good for them, bad for them kind of situation. Yeah. And that's Gowland's curse, is he cannot lie. If he lies, he himself will be turned to stone, and you cannot lie to him. I did forget about the big battle. I'm sorry about that happened before this. I'll get to that. But yeah, so Bon fights them, and Molaskus essentially does some weird, powerful ability where she's able to suck out the soul of the person who she's fighting. So she sucks out Bon's soul, which pretty much turns him into a meat puppet. Like, he has no emotions, nothing. He's just a meat suit. But he's able to survive this because of, we learned in his backstory, his adopted father, who is like a wolf man, half wolf, where he can transform whenever he wants. He encountered him earlier in this village stealing, and he kind of became his adopted son in their backstory.
Oh, Zhivago?
Zhivago, yeah. And we learned a lot more about Vaughn in the backstory episode, where he was a kid and all he wanted to do was eat, and he had to revert to stealing. He wasn't good at it. Zhivago kind of took him under his wing and helped him, and then he abandoned him to go save his real son. And as Bon was just getting pounded on by a whole bunch of villagers as a kid. And Zhivago, obviously, as an adult now, Bon recognizes him as he helps him with some thieves in this town that they're in, which is pretty much known for being a bad town because of all the bad guys living there. And and Zhivago essentially passes away. I'm assuming from old age. He was just too weak at that. And right before Gowland was able to eat Bon's soul, it was Zhivago that took his place, and Bon was able to return to his body and pretty much do this cool move where he knocks, I guess, the hearts out of his enemies and destroys them. I don't really know what the move is called or what exactly he does, but he does
Snatch.
It's called Snatch. Very
Snatch.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, so he does that, and we kind of find out that the Ten Commandments have 6 hearts. So
7, I thought it was.
When Meliodas died, I think he got stabbed 6 times.
Yeah,
I thought it was 7 times.
What is it, Ben?
I thought it was 6. I mean, 7 would be weird. I know 6 is weird, but at least 6 is one on each, 2 pairs.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I thought it was 6. It might be 7. But yeah, he destroys one of them, which hurts them, but it doesn't kill them. So they kind of start.
You also forgot about, what was that? Oh, no, I forgot it myself. I was just thinking about it. God damn it.
What?
Who we were talking about, I'm sure there was something else that we did that was really cool.
Bon?
Yeah, Bon. I'll remember it later, I think.
Okay. But yeah, no, that's so they take off. Bon kind of passes out with Elaine, who we find out if Molasca is killed, then everybody she's revived will die as well.
Oh, that was it. Remember the fact that his ability, he can actually get stronger by absorbing the life around him.
You're right. That's when he was able to actually hit and hurt Gowland a little bit.
That's what damages his body if he absorbs too much. He can go past his limits, but his limit still has a limit. So
okay,
he's limited by his limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of get away and they run away, and that's when they run into Escanor. But before that, I should mention the big fight that happened in what's it called? In Camelot, where the seven deadly sins were there. This is before Elaine lost her memory. Everybody was there except for Escanor and Bon and King. And they got into a fight with Galen, who showed up, not at full power, because he didn't want to wait for his magic to regenerate. He just went in
That
with
zero magic stat.
Yes, yeah, the zero magic stat. Which is funny because all of a sudden everybody has a power level in that anime. which Pig was able to pretty much tell them reading their power levels, Dragon Ball style. But yeah, Galen shows up and he destroys everybody. He destroys all the seven deadly sins. Meliodas tries to fight him with some of his power. He's not even able to do it. And Merlin is turned to stone because she lies to Galen. That's when we find out that if you lie to him, that you'll be turned to stone. So she's pretty much turned to stone, but she's able to save herself or her soul or her essence. I don't quite understand what she did, but she was able to transfer herself to like some magical crystal and talk through that. But it was Gother at the end who actually saved them all from being massacred by Galen because he put a spell on him that made him see things that weren't really there. So he thought he killed everybody, but he actually didn't. So he just left, thinking that he had succeeded. Great fight scene. I thoroughly enjoyed that fight with him. Galen is a great character. But it wasn't until Escanor showed up that things really got cool, in my opinion. So as they're hiding in Escanor's, Galen and I always forget her name now. I hate myself. Moaska show up in the bar and they start to play a game. And Galen, they start drinking heavily, knowing that Bon and them are hiding in his back room or the wine cellar or something like that. And Galen decides he's going to play a game and he wants Escanor to play with him. And I believe the game was like, remind me what the game was because I don't 100% remember. Do you remember, Klaus?
No, I don't remember the game 100%. Give me a moment here. I did, however, find that demons can have up to 7 hearts.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
The number of hearts varies, although upper level demons have 7.
Interesting.
So I wasn't totally wrong.
No.
But anyway, let me see if I can't find that information you're looking for. Escanor. So that fight in the bar. No, I don't remember. All I remember is his power is pretty impressive. And how it manifests.
Yeah, so essentially they have this game where they have to, I think it's like hitting each other or something until one of them can't hit anymore, or I don't remember what it is. But it's a deal that Galen makes with him. So if Galen breaks his own deal, he'll be turned to stone. And it's one of those things where he can't lie. So pretty much what happens is he hits Escanor, and Escanor falls, and he gets hit so hard that like everything crumbles and the whole cave crumbles that they're in. And they think Escanor is either dead or completely knocked out. So they're waiting for him to wake up so they can finish this game because Galen now has this thing that he has to honor. He can't just not honor it because he'll be turned to stone. So he sees this crazy battle axe just hanging on the wall, and he tries to pick it up, and it just falls to the ground because it's so heavy, and he can't lift it. And out of nowhere, this big giant dude just grabs the axe from him. And this is when we find out what Escanor's real power is. And to me, it's, I think, a very cool concept because he's the most powerful character in the show. We saw that in the big fight at the end. He is literally physically the most powerful, and nothing can stop him. But at night, he is utterly worthless because he's the scrawny little man, and that's his curse that he has. And he's the sin of pride, and pretty much his power is the sun. So every time the sun is out, he pretty much transforms into this giant hulking force, like the Hulk, but with control, obviously. And he becomes indestructible. Like, his power just rises, and it never stops rising.
And he gets cocky.
He gets super old. That's his pride talking.
Yes.
He's very prideful. But the thing is, he's constantly backing it up. And I believe it's here when he just owns Moaska in one hit. And Gowan becomes terrified when this happens. And Escanor is like, well, are we going to fight or not? Then I guess Gowan tries to run away because he saw just how, like, his power level was double that of Gowan. Gowan, I believe his max power he went to was like 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
And Escanor went to like 60,000. So he was terrified at this point.
And it wasn't even high noon.
No, it was just noon. It was just getting there. And Gowan tries to run away because he tried to run away. He didn't hold up his deal, so he got turned to stone, which made me sad because I loved Gowan. He was a great character. And at this point, we thought that Escanor also killed Moaska, but we find out later on in the anime that she is actually still alive. He essentially tries to burn her to death. Well, she tries to use that power where she consumes you and tries to take your soul. But his soul is so powerful, she couldn't do it. So he pretty much set her on fire from the inside.
His soul burned her from within.
Yes.
Because he had so much power built up. And basically he just, his power, like I said, derives from the sun, but it's not only power, but it's also heat.
Mm-hmm. And so it damages everything around him too.
Yes. Quite the interesting character, but you definitely don't want to take him on those night missions.
No, he's utterly worthless at night. But in the daytime, you want him on the front. He could have probably taken all sins by himself if he wanted to.
Everybody but Meliodas.
Maybe. I mean, Meliodas himself says that Escanor is way more powerful than he is.
Yeah, but his full counter would probably counter his attack.
And you got to also remember Meliodas is a lot more humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to also remember when, at the end of the anime, when Escanor fights Meliodas' brother, we find out that it's not just physical strength. His magical strength is enormous.
Well, that would be the advantage Meliodas would have. Whatever his name will have, because
Meliodas.
Because of the full counter magic. Because his main damage is his magic. With he's physically powerful, but the heat attack is his main. That's considered magic, and he could full counter that.
I think it'll be an interesting fight to see. From the way Meliodas talked about Escanor, I believe Meliodas is afraid of Escanor.
Yeah.
And another weakness that Escanor has is Merlin. He's absolutely in love with her.
True. I mean, to be fair, I would have that weakness too. She is the hottest.
Yeah, like he's absolutely in love with her. But yeah, at night, he's utterly worthless. But he instantly became my favorite character because essentially he has a split personality. And I just love his character. Like, he's just super powerful, and he's intelligent as hell when he fights. Because we saw in the two fights after Galland and her, he has the fight in the big maze when it's nighttime, and they're pretty much split up into groups, and it's like a fighting tournament run by two of the commandments, who we find out are two of the commandments who fought against the demon race back during the war. It was the Elf King, whose name again escapes me. The first Elf King ever.
Oh yeah. Hell if I know.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. And the other one was who I believe is part of the giant race.
The first Elf King actually went over to the Ten Commandments.
Yes.
Which one was that now? Damn it. Why can I never remember?
Gloxinia? I think it's Gloxinia. Yeah. Yep, that's him. They went over to the darker side during the war. So they had set up this tournament where people had to get through the maze, and then whoever won the tournament would, I believe, get one wish fulfilled that they wanted. So they're all split up into groups, and we saw Elizabeth team up with Elaine during the tournament, and they had a good fight. Meliodas teamed up with Bon, and they didn't really fight. They fought each other and somehow killed the two guys they were supposed to fight.
That was amazing. I loved that.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing. They're like, oh, yeah, you're so weak. You know, you should go spend time with your girlfriend. No, mate, you go spend time with your girlfriend.
And so they hit each other. They hit him into the other person and basically knocks the one out.
Oh, he died.
The one opponent, and then
died.
Well, what happened?
Yeah, they're like, what happened to these guys? They had no idea what they just did. It's such a good moment. But Escanor was up against Gother in this fight, and Gother tried to destroy Escanor through his mind, essentially. And the big mistake Escanor makes is... Oh, Chris is back.
I managed to make it back.
Woohoo! We were talking about Escanor fighting Gother in the maze area.
Yes, when Gother used his brain jack on Escanor.
Yeah, and the big mistake that he made... Yeah, the big mistake Gother makes is showing him that he can never have Merlin. And that lit a fire underneath him. And he essentially created the sun in his mind, which allowed him to transform.
Because his pride won't allow him to give up on Merlin.
Yeah, and it was here where his power just became insane. And both of the sins that were there, they were terrified because they saw how powerful he was becoming. And he wasn't even getting close to being full power because it was still night out. But again, they saw just how powerful he was. But Gother thought he was able to kill Escanor. He got some sort of sneak attack on him when Escanor attacked him. But what had really happened was Escanor purposely missed Gother to hit and attack the two sins that were
Commandments.
Yeah, the commandments, not the sins.
No, the sins. Sorry, the two of the commandments that were hosting the tournament. And that's where they pointed it out. This is what Escanor really tried to do, and Meliodas knew about the plan. This is the kind of thing that kind of got me confused, is how Meliodas was able to conceive this plan with Escanor without anybody else.
I don't know if they planned it exactly, but
it wasn't. Meliodas was relying on Escanor basically to know what to do.
Yeah.
Basically, basically,
was relying on his pride to take him out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
Yeah, it was fucking
he's
awesome.
very prideful, so the idea of having someone telling him what to do would be, completely against his character, really.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like people above him, and 2 people are above him. Escanor smash.
He really is.
Escanor is the best, dude. I'm sorry. He's such a great character.
I actually prefer him in his non-transformed state, if I'm honest.
When he's a little coward.
No, when he's in the little butler out, I like it.
Yeah.
That's something that I kind of mentioned in our last podcast when we talked about it. Is there's actually a lot of depth to all of these characters. Like they all seem kind of one-sided at first, but you learn that their characters are both. How can I put it? There's a good side to all of them, as well as a very bad side to all of them, and it causes what we're seeing now are the results of a lot of their prior decisions of their life. So that it makes these characters meaningful and have depth when they're coming together all like this. And that's something that I've liked about this second season is we see more of everybody's background.
There's an absolute, just a lot of character depth and character growth that we see in the second season here. And like you're saying, we're seeing the decisions from their past. It's really affecting where they're having to go now, especially since they have to basically, especially with Meliodas, he has to confront what he did 3,000 years ago, and in betraying his kind, his family, and basically locking them in the void.
Yep, and it was unfinished business, and it proves you can't run from your troubles. You've got to try and solve them.
Or you can just drink.
Human or demon, or you can just drink. Yeah, that for a while.
That's why he's got the boar's hat.
Mm-hmm. He was just wanting to get away from it all and drink his problems away. I don't blame him. Those are some pretty heavy problems to have.
We all need our own boar's hat.
There was one thing I did forget to talk about is the training they went. I don't remember exactly the place they went to. It was like this hidden little.
Yeah, it was basically the land of the druids that are in connection with like Earth or whatever. Like these are the most powerful druids. I think it was mentioned that Elizabeth has some druid in her, and they're like a direct descendant of the goddess race or something like that.
We'll get to Elizabeth in a second, because I think that's the big reveal at the end.
Don't worry, I made sure I mentioned enough boobies while you were gone, Chris.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad. There is some excellent boobage in this second season.
Yeah, Deanne's boobage. Merlin's boobage.
Yep.
Merlin's boobage.
Elizabeth's boobage.
Elizabeth had some great boobage, as well as some very interesting panty shots.
Yeah, some good panty shots.
I gotta say, there was some very
Tasteful
fan-favorite
ones.
panty shots here.
There was a little bit of Jericho boobage, and that's, I think, who you were trying to think of. Jericho was the one that Bond was kind of developing a... They kind of had a little thing going.
Yes, you're right. You're right. That is her name.
Yep.
Thanks for coming back, Chris. Thank you for that.
All it was...
You saved the podcast.
Oh, good. No,
You saved us. Now you can talk about the rest of it. We can all go have
No,
naps.
I can... Oh, my God.
Carry it.
That's
for
what
us.
happened last time. Yes,
Anyways, they go through the training so Meliodas can get his power back that Merlin took from him. And everybody goes through their training except obviously for Deanne, Bon, and King. Deanne, Bon. I think those are the only two that weren't there.
Did Escanor go through it?
No, Escanor wasn't there.
Escanor doesn't need training.
He would go in and everything would just explode and be like, done.
Yeah. Escanor just needs sunblock.
But yeah, so they went in, and King and Meliodas went in together, and King, I believe, is the first one who realized that Meliodas is a demon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and
he
tries
had the
to
suspicions.
Yeah, and he confronted him about it, and Meliodas pretty much said, I can't tell you now, I'll tell you in time everything you want to know. And after their training, that's when King decides to leave again and go look for Deanna.
He feels like he can't trust Meliodas right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with everything he's been going through, I really can't blame him. With the way the demons have been messing with his sister, bringing her soul back to life, and almost having her kill him and everybody around. That was kind of something to be really worried about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I think really the only one who knows for sure that Meliodas is a demon is Merlin.
Yeah, because she was there when they established the 7 deadly sins.
Well, she was there 3,000 years ago.
Yep. I don't think they purposely tell you because they haven't revealed who she is yet. They
pretty much told you, but you have no idea what.
Yeah, they told us but didn't tell us.
Yeah, it's in the manga, but it hasn't been mentioned yet in the anime.
Yeah, but so everybody goes through the training. Hauser, Gil Thunder, everybody's there. Even Hendrickson, who was the main villain. Yeah, Hendrickson, who was the main villain of the first one, is now helping them to stop the demons because he had no idea what he was being controlled to do by Dreyfus.
Who is controlled by Feraldrin.
Yes. So essentially, Meliodas goes full power against Dryas and Calmadios, the fairy king, the first fairy king, who's now Commandment. He starts fighting both of them.
Gloxinia and Droll.
Oh, is that Gloxemia? Is that no? I must be reading different translation. Gloxemia. I was looking at a different character. There you go. Yeah, Gloxemia and Droll. So he starts fighting him on his own, and there's another wizard in this area who essentially teleports everybody out with him, and just leaves Meliodas to fight on it. And Meliodas has the upper hand on the two of them. He's not fighting them at the same time. He's fighting them one at a time. And they're able to essentially survive because Gloxemia has the power to heal with this stupid flower. And in a way, this fight really upset me because I don't know why Meliodas would continuously allow him to heal everybody. Would just destroy the flower and be done with it.
Well, they do reveal why he did what he did later on. But right now it's very like, come on, fucking finish him. You're obviously powerful enough right now to finish one. Finish one.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're left yelling at the screen for 4 episodes now.
Wasn't he just trying to welcome himself into? Yeah, it's like look at me now.
Yeah, essentially.
Are you not entertained?
But yeah, it was actually really awesome. Yeah, it was a really awesome fight, but essentially he wasn't quick enough in defeating them, so the other 10 Commandments showed up, and they all just start wailing on Meliodas. And we learned a lot of some of their abilities. We learned, what's her name? Deriria? Derriere. See, you should be doing this, not me.
No, please. I like it.
Yeah, we learned some of their other abilities. So her ability is she gets stronger the more she hits something, from how I understood it.
Yeah.
So the consecutively. So if she's constantly hitting you uninterrupted, she's getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, each punch doubles, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah. Because they said that Meliodas was the first person to survive over 50 hits.
Mm-hmm. Then I think he lost the use of his arms.
Yeah, basically she broke them both, shattered them completely. Yeah. Doing that.
Yeah, so he got owned by her. But yeah, they all essentially teamed up to take him. And we found out that Meliodas was purposely taking a lot of the hits because he was preparing to use his pretty much ultimate counter, the revenge counter. And it was with this counter that he was going to kill all of them in one blow. up until, obviously, right before he did the move, his brother showed up and stopped him. Male?
The big brother, Esterosa.
Esterosa? Is that his name?
Esterosa, yeah.
Esterosa, yes. And he has another brother.
Zildris is the younger.
He looks a lot like Meliodas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he shows up and he stops his full counter. And he's essentially got Meliodas down on the ground. And Bond shows up. And he tries to save him as best he can. And he's trying to get Esterosa off of Meliodas. And he's using all of his power to do it. And he just can't even move him an inch. And he pretty much stabs all of Meliodas' hearts, killing him. And sending him into purgatory. Which is something that the other demons do not know about. They do not know that Meliodas can come back if he defeats the Demon King in purgatory. It was after that where we kind of have a fast forward in time. I don't know how many years it goes forward.
I think it's only something like 6 months or so.
I think
is it only 6 months? Man, it seemed a lot more.
It seemed like a lot more than 6 months.
Yeah, because they never directly said how long it was.
But we go forward in time, and the demons are pretty much running everything now. Villagers are sacrificing. What are the mages? I believe
Holy Knights.
Holy Knights.
Yeah,
yes.
Holy Knights. Yes, they're sacrificing Holy Knights because the demons pretty much demand that the Holy Knights be pretty much destroyed, and villagers are trying to capture them because they're getting spared if they deliver Holy Knights to them. It's just a big mess. Everybody's kind of scattered around. Deanna's with King, kind of in the Giants area. They're not really doing anything. Gother is under arrest because they found out that he was a demon that just doesn't remember that he's a demon.
Yeah, they go through of selflessness. It turns out he was one of the 10 Commandments.
Yes, but doesn't remember that. So they imprison him. So he's off the playing board. So yeah, it's just a big mess, and the Kingdom of Leonis is pretty much the last big kingdom left standing. And we find out that Elizabeth and Hawk are pretty much running the bar, and Meliodas is up in the bedroom of bar, and he's just been there the whole time, and she's hoping that he wakes up. He comes back. But we also find out that Zalatros has also come back. And remind me who he is, because
Zaratros is the Grandmaster that Dreyfus and Hendricks, while under the control of Feraldrin, killed. But originally in the first series, we just find out when we think that Dreyfus and Hendricks are the two bad guys that killed Zaratros and framed the 7 Commandments. That was what we used to think, but we never really met Zaratros before.
Well, we just met parts of him.
Yeah, yeah, basically. And so now because of Melascula's ability, Zaratros is back, and he has stopped by the Boar Hat.
Yeah, but he's not vengeful like everybody else that's been brought back.
Mm-hmm.
Like his heart is pure, but he's still back.
Because he regrets how he died.
Oh, is that why? Okay. Nice.
Roughly. I mean, he feels that his betrayal by Dreyfus and Hendrickson, it wasn't exactly them that betrayed him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But him, he has this, I guess, gift where he's able to see the past, I guess. And we kind of get a lot of the backstory of how the seven deadly sins came to be.
Yeah, he shows Elizabeth Meliodas' past, essentially, and it's here that we learn exactly who Elizabeth is, what Meliodas basically set in motion due to the events of that day in Danafall, when he went all fucking, Goku Black and killed everything.
Yeah, I don't think we truly learn everything, though.
Not everything, but
we know that Meliodas is carrying her while she's a baby. We don't know how she came to be.
No.
We just know that he's carrying her, and he's super protective of anybody who tries to take her.
Because that's Liz.
Yeah, so in a way, he's kind of the creepy stepdad who just waited for her to grow up so he can fondle her.
Pretty much, yeah.
Terrible. It's so bad. So bad.
Yeah, that scene admittedly was a little weird. Oh my gosh, here,
really
help me have the child. And he slaps his hand. Get away from my woman!
Yeah.
It's like, what?
But we do learn why, and it's because she is the reincarnation of the woman that he loved.
Liz.
Yep.
How she's reincarnation, I don't think we learn. But
no, they don't show that.
No, but we do learn that she is essentially, I think, half archangel, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is what I'm thinking is happening with the kind of what we're seeing in his past. I think we're getting kind of a Romeo and Juliet love story background. I think that Meliodas was leader of the Ten Commandments, like they've explained, and fell in love, I think, with a goddess or something like that during their war. And whatever sin or whatever commandment Meliodas was, in doing so, he, broke his own commandment
of love.
Yeah,
something like, Well, is that what?
Yeah, he was the commandment of love.
Oh, okay, see, there you go. But yeah, he broke that sin, and now, so he can't die. Every time he does die, he has to go fight the Demon King.
Yeah.
And
it's a curse. It's his demonic curse.
His power, and take some of the Demonic King's power back. And as they show that now in this upcoming fight that happens a little bit ahead with Feraldrin, exactly what that means too, and what kind of the bad side of this curse is. But I think that Liz has some kind of same curse situation going on. I think that she was a goddess in her previous life, or something like that, is what they're alluding to.
When she gets in a fight with that demon's name that I can't pronounce, go tell me.
Feraldrin?
No, Derriere.
Derriere, yes.
Derriere realizes who she is. She realizes that she is an archangel. And she knows, like, only archangels really have the power to stop the demons now, because the goddess race is kind of lost a lot of its power.
Yep.
And we don't really see the goddess race at all up until the one time when we find out that one of the
yes, it's Sir
the Azure Sky guys.
Sir
Denzel Leonis. Denzel.
Yes, Sir Denzel.
He has a pact with, I guess, one of the goddesses, and he summons her to try to defeat.
I wouldn't call it a pact.
More like he summoned her against her will.
Yeah. She was none too pleased about it, and actually wanted to just leave the fight. Like, what the hell am I doing here? This stupid woman summoned me.
You summoned me.
I'm not
guys,
fighting
I'm going
for you.
home.
Yeah, she flies off, but the Ten Commandments that are there won't let her leave.
Yeah, well, we saw, like, okay, she's super powerful. That's cool. And then she gets into a fight with Derriere, who doesn't let her leave. And, yeah, Derriere pretty much one-shots her and kills her.
Mm-hmm.
And down she went.
Which was pretty funny. Honestly, like, a goddess, yes, we can do this now. And it's like, oh my god, no, it's a Ten Commandment. Just fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so.
But I do want to talk about probably the best fight with Escanor and Meliodas.
Estarossa.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That was fucking amazing, dude. And so, yeah, because Leonis is basically under siege. It's at its last stand. Mm-hmm. The demons are at the gates, and they basically send both of their best players forward, Estarossa and Escanor. And Estarossa is the 10 Commandment of benevolence, meaning that anybody who stands before him with hate in their heart will lose all of their strength and all of their magic power. So Bon is back, even though he basically got exploded the last time he met Estarossa. That shit was funny. It just instantly vaporized.
Can we just call him Deadpool?
Yeah, pretty much. So Deadpool is there, and they've lost their power. Everybody there, Gil Thunder, Hendrix. No, is Hendrickson there? No, he's off.
No, he's there at first, but he leaves later.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody is there, and everybody has lost their power except for fucking
Escanor,
who has no hate in his heart.
He just walks forward. I pity you.
Oh
like,
man,
right.
This fight made me so happy because this is a fight. It's like watching Beerus fight Whis at this point.
Yep.
God.
Yeah, Estarossa. So like they start having this gentlemanly conversation, and Estarossa fucking like uppercuts him, and then jumps up. I can't remember exactly what it is. He kicks him down, and like they're at a cliffside, so he kicks Escanor down the cliffside, lands in front of him, punches him back up the cliffside, and then kicks him into the ground back on top of the cliff. Just like a quick 4-hit combo, and he moved Escanor like 800 miles.
Combo.
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, can Escanor not even stand up to him?" And Estarossa walks up to him, starts talking, and then all of a sudden he sees a bright light to the right of his face. And he kind of turns and looks and like, hey, the sun is right in my face all of a sudden. What's going on? Oh shit, that's a fist. I just love just that reaction in that time. Blocks it.
Wasn't this also the fight where because of how close everyone is?
Like, everybody's armor melts.
Where's the lake?
They're starting to melt.
They're like, oh yes, over that way, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And boom.
Escanor asks Bon, like, the lake. Where is the lake? It's over this way. He's like, very good.
Where was the lake?
Where was the lake? Yeah.
Because that lake
fucking amazing. Yeah, the lake's gone. Yeah, he fucking sent Estarossa flying with a cruel sun attack after melting everybody's armor there when he was powering up. Yeah. And then
hold on, because it was here where Estarossa thought he could beat Escanor with his counter.
Yeah.
And
and
he tries it, and he thinks he like cut him in half or something, and then just out of nowhere he just like takes the hit at the same time.
Yeah.
And he realizes that Escanor took the hit just so he can get closer to him to cause serious damage to Estarossa. Mm-hmm. So essentially his full counter failed him because Escanor was so much faster than the full counter can counter him.
Well, he took it, though. That's the thing, is he even said, like, when he hit them, the full counter is supposed to be able to do double damage back towards you.
Yeah.
So Escanor hit him with full strength, had that double damage come back to him, and Escanor is just such a powerful tank. He like, oh, I see why I felt pain just now. I do pack quite a punch. Like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, he just had twice his power hit back.
Confirm this.
Yes. What?
Is full counter? See, I thought his full counter was a physical version.
I believe. God, Meliodas is magic. So yeah. Yes, Esterosa is as a physical full counter.
Yeah.
So any physical attacks directed against him, he counters back at 2 times damage. The same as Meliodas'. But he
Imagine if
still
they would
hit
actually
him.
work together. I know that he's a demon, but imagine if he turned good, that'd be broken as fuck.
It's just like double full counter.
Yeah.
Double full revenge counter.
But yeah, it's at the lake where we find out that he's trying to use his counter, so Escanor decides that he's going to use magic instead because he can't stop it. And he just he wrecks him so hard.
I love the speech that Escanor gave after Esterosa blocked his hand, because Escanor was about to throw another Cruel Sun attack. And announces it too. He's just like, and now Cruel Sun. And it just like starts blazing in his hand, and Esterosa like uses his black hole to black it out, and he starts shit talking him, and Escanor's just like, you swallowed my Cruel Sun? Who decided that? I'm powerless against you? Who decided that? Like, everything he said was basically like, no, you're not gonna beat me. You are not shit compared to me. I'm telling you to back down. You can't. Like that earlier fight with Gallon of Truth. Like, I stand above all others, all other races. I'm the one. And Gallon's like, wait, you gotta be lying. Why aren't you turning into stone? Like, it's just, every single line of Escanor's was just pure gold to me. And just wrecked him. Yeah, like you said. Fucking hit him with a Cruel Sun, sent him flying.
Yeah.
And like, it was at this point Esterosa is like screaming, like he's actually like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die, and Zildris has to jump in and save him, or try to save him, and they both go flying, and then there's another nice nuclear explosion off in the distance.
Yeah,
remember, then he sort of drills him through the ground as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that he just blows him up, he drills him through the earth itself.
Yeah,
he hits him through the water and evaporates the water because the heat is so much.
Yeah.
He completely evaporated the entire lake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just such an amazing fight. But there's something that's going on with Escanor after this and after the Gallon fight where he's like,
I don't think he realizes what his power is. Like, that's kind of he essentially gets so strong and so powerful that he, without any control of his own power, can destroy everything around him.
Yeah.
Like,
he has to jump off.
It destroys everything. So he has to essentially try to calm himself down, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. But it was, at the same time, I was like thinking, like, okay, if you're still this powerful, why don't you go after the rest of them? What are you doing, dude? There's still a war going on. Go kill some more. You can do it.
Because
and I think that's why he doesn't go. It's another one of his weaknesses, I think, is outside of just the darkness, he becomes he's essentially like Brawly, where he becomes so powerful that he goes into berserk mode and he can't control his pride anymore. Like, that's all I can really think of is what it is.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. It was something that they only ever alluded to, because they only ever said that it's like,
and it would make sense if
I guess I
like
should stay out here.
I guess it would make sense if it's like a 2 pride mode, because that was the strongest one of the sins, and if he can slaughter him without an issue, his pride is going to tell him what's the point. What's the point of going after the weaker ones?
Yeah, I'm really curious to know more about what this curse is, because I'm starting to wonder if Escanor is the result of another commandment. You know, because there's still some things we don't know about how Escanor came to have this curse. They said it's a curse. They straight up said it's a curse.
He had it when he was a child. Got it when he was born.
I would love to see if he was like, I know it sounds weird, but I would love to see if he was a previous commandment, and like I would put him as the commandment of love.
Yeah, another commandment that we haven't learned, because there's still, as far as we know, there are still 2 commandments that we don't know about. The 2 that Meliodas killed.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on with Gother. We don't know what's going on with Merlin. Yeah. Because she herself during this battle defeats one of the other 10 commandments.
I don't think she's a commandment, though.
I don't know.
So I just watched that scene again, and he says it himself. He has to restrain himself. He won't be able to restrain himself if he keeps going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
So,
Yeah. I just wanted to talk about this. God damn it.
Who doesn't?
Great character.
Keep talking about it. I'm happy with
Here's the thing, though. He did so much damage, and it really upset me that at the end we find out he didn't actually kill them. And to me, it's like, why? Why wouldn't he have killed them?
Well, they still need to, for two reasons, I think. They still need to establish that these are still very the two most powerful commandments, basically, Meliodas' brothers.
And plus, technically, although he burnt him, he didn't destroy the hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he hit him with such an attack that nothing should have survived. I'm sorry.
You gotta remember, these are demons.
Least,
they're not human.
Yeah.
At the least, though, I think Esterosa should have died, and his younger brother who jumped in to save him could have survived.
Well, they may do something like that. They may do something like that, because Zeldris, they only really show Zeldris later on that he still has control of Camelot, basically.
Yeah,
Nobody knows.
Because let's face it, out of Escanor, attacked 5 of the commandments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't kill any of them. Galen pretty much killed himself by trying to run away. So, as powerful as he is, he didn't kill any of them, which really upset me. Like, you have the most powerful character, and he hasn't.
What if Zeldris has the same curse as Meliodas?
I doubt it. Well, Zeldris' curse is of piety.
Meliodas' curse exists because the Demon King put it on him after he betrayed him.
Yeah, but what if because he's the younger brother, what if he gave him the same sort of curse?
Well, Zeldris' curse is that if you turn your back on him during battle, you'll become his slave. They said that during one of the during the attack before Esterosa fought Escanor in there. Like, people were running away from Zeldris when he walked through the street, and they suddenly became they became his slaves and were fighting for him. And that's his curse. Zeldris of piety.
Yeah, Zeldris' sin, or his commandment is piety. Esterosa got the commandment of love from Meliodas when Meliodas left.
Yeah, so benevolence. So anybody who stands with their hate in their heart loses their power.
What is Manspete? Manspete?
Monspeet?
Monspeet. What's his curse?
I don't know. They never said what his or Derriere's were. Or they said Gloxny of prose and Droll of patience, but they never said like what the effects were, just what the names
But
were.
never know now because Meliodas killed them. Both of them in one shot.
Yeah. During that scene that we were talking back on the boar hat, we were talking about when Derriere attacks Elizabeth, Meliodas intervenes and he's back alive again in the living world. And yeah, during that fight, that was a great fight too, I gotta say, because I liked that it showed Meliodas had gained power now and now knew how to fight Derriere, because he was, instead of just blocking, he was like parrying and countering, so she couldn't build up her combo meter. Like, just that fight scene was really cool to see. They did a really good job on the animation. It was like quick, but you can still see everything.
And Derriere, once she found out who Elizabeth was, she doesn't particularly tell you who she is. She just realizes it. And she tries to kill her as quickly as possible. And that's when Meliodas comes to save her. So clearly Elizabeth has some sort of power that the demons feel. Because if Derriere found out what it is, she...
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think that Derriere recognized Liz as the one that caused Meliodas to betray the demon race and the Ten Commandments.
I'm reading about Droll. I didn't know he had the power to control time.
I wasn't aware of that because they never show him have that power.
Yeah, I thought he was just a giant. He can control the earth.
A time regression spell. A technique from the goddess clan that allows to send the soul of some being towards the past. He also had the power to scan... this probably is his curse, maybe. He has the ability to scan people's power levels.
Yeah, that
magic eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Meliodas was trying to avoid earlier, was to have his plan revealed when Escanor attacked them, him and Gloxinia. Because he didn't want him to breed he didn't want Droll to use his magic eye to see what Meliodas' plan was, so that's why he had to do that plan like that.
Escanor's power is over 9,000!
Apparently it's over 65,000.
What? 65,000? There's no way!
Can I just say that the whole power level thing, I really don't think they needed to introduce.
Who was the other
in the second season?
Sure about? Gloxinia, right?
Gloxinia of Prose, yeah. I don't. They didn't mention what of Repose, yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Watching them freak out every time Escanor showed up, I'm not gonna complain about that. They're like it keeps getting higher. They're just all afraid of him every time they see him. Like, oh shit. But yeah, no. After that fight, they essentially all retreat back, and that's where what's his name? Whose name I forgot again? God damn it!
Which
Dreyfus.
one?
Dreyfus and
Hendrix are fighting.
No. Dreyfus is in the castle, in the throne room, and so is Greyroar.
Yes.
The other Ten Commandment, and they essentially imprisoned a bunch of people. And they're kind of transforming into monsters. And if they try to stop them, like break them out of their little hatchling or the egg sac or whatever, they transform right away.
Yep. And there's another problem too, as we see with, and I forget the guy's name,
the guy
but he attacks. Yeah, right before that. Because in that room, two of the people that turned into monster, like demon monsters, were attacked by the big dude in the green shirt.
His name is.
I can't remember his name ever, but
Delgado.
Delgado, yes. He attacks them and and kills both of them. And then all of a sudden, he grows old super fast and just falls over dead. And that's where we learn Grey Road of pacifism, as you might have guessed. If you commit murder in front of Grey Road, all of your time will be stolen from you. All of your remaining time basically ages you instantly. And so they're trapped. Either they have to sit there and wait for these monsters to form, including Jericho is trapped up in this. And be killed by them, or kill them and lose all their time to Grey Road, or attack Grey Road and lose their lives, basically.
By the way, the ones we don't know about repose, patience, I don't even know how to say this word,
reticence,
and purity. Those are the ones we don't know about. The selflessness, piety, faith, truth, and love that we do know about.
Yep. So yeah, and then this is where, I don't know. What did you want to touch on, Gary?
Go for it. That's where Merlin shows up.
Yeah. This is where Merlin shows up, and this was fucking awesome because she kind of reveals a little something about herself because she kills one of the monsters that comes out, and she doesn't die, and everybody's just like, "What?" What's happening? Why are you? How can you be alive? You committed murder in front of Grey Road. And she's like, "Oh, my special ability is infinity. I have infinite time and infinite magic power and everything." And they're just like, "What? That's impossible.
You hack.
How? How can you be?" And then she reveals, and this is where it gets real. And I can't remember the name, but she reveals.
She doesn't give you the. You don't know what the name is.
No. Let me finish. she reveals that she is the daughter of some other high-ranking demon, but it's not a name that we've ever heard or that's been mentioned to us before. So she did say kind of who she was, but then she gives her name in the only way she can, which is some really fucking like weird Chicago album playing backwards demon tongue. And everybody's like, wait, what? Who? And she's like, oh, you can't pronounce it in human tongue. And Grey Road like freaks out, just fucking panics, and then she goes after Merlin goes after Grey Road, and she's
the daughter of Belialwin.
Yeah,
Belialwin.
Belialwin. Yep.
So the demons know who that is, but nobody else.
Exactly. And to see Grey Road, a Ten Commandment, fucking panic at that now brings even more intrigue into, okay, who is Merlin now? Like, who? Because now we know that she's apparently part of the demon race too.
Is she part of the demon race?
I
Did
guess.
They say? I think it's part of the goddess race.
You think?
Yeah.
I thought they were going for demon. Yeah. I don't know.
Or something of a long dead race. I just don't see, like, if she was a demon. Yes, the demons would know her. Oh, I guess you could be right.
Well, I don't know.
Also,
I mean, they could also know the goddess names too.
We also
remember.
Okay.
Actually, according to the history, Belialwin, it was actually neutral in the conflict between the goddess and demon clans.
She's probably human.
I doubt it.
So we still don't know what Belialwin is.
Because
what
remember,
race he is.
all the races lived in peace until the conflict happened, which they talk about what started the war a little bit.
Wasn't it Meliodas that started the war? Isn't that kind of what they were alluding to? Like it was his fault?
I think they're blaming him for costing them the war. But something else started the war because all the races lived together.
Yeah.
Up until something happened. They mention it, but I just don't remember what it is.
Well, that's what I thought it was something to do with Meliodas.
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't.
Well, it's basically was because Meliodas betrayed the demons,
right?
Because he fell in love with Elizabeth.
Yes, but there was something. They were at war already, though. I thought.
I thought they were already at war when that happened,
and
that's when Meliodas betrayed them, which is what cost them to lose the war.
Yeah.
Also, by reading the wiki, I found out we've not actually seen Merlin's real form. She actually looks like a child.
Spoilers, Ben. Spoilers.
Well, there you go, Gary. now you can love Merlin even more.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while since I've done a Gary pedophile joke. Come on.
But yeah, after she pretty much owns them there, Dreyfus tries to run away and he encounters Hendrickson.
Wait, where did you say that was? Belialwin.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Belialwin.
It's actually a place. It's not actually a person. Yeah. When she says she's a daughter of Belialwin, it means that's where she was born.
Yeah, she's born in the capital, aka the
capital
of the wizards.
Oh, okay.
And that location she's human, but that area was basically Switzerland when it came to the war between the goddesses and the demons. She actually went to have the two parlay and try and talk peace. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. Apparently, she's a very.
But we still don't know why the demons fear her so much, or those people.
Yeah, I love, but this kind of little fight I really love because it gave us some insight into why she's known as the what is it, the boar sin of gluttony.
Well, I think the goddesses actually feared her as well, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because of her infinite magic.
Well, she has an undying thirst for knowledge. That her gluttonous nature is that of intelligence. She wants to know everything. Yeah. And the only way she could truly know everything was by whatever sin she committed. She has infinite magic. I'm sure there's something very bad to this that we don't quite know about, kind of similar to Gother and Meliodas and that, but I'm guessing that she broke some kind of taboo.
She's another character that bothers me in the show, mostly because of her powers. So she knows how powerful she is. She could have stopped a lot of shit from happening, but she did nothing, which really upset me.
Because that's not her personality, though. She wants to learn stuff. If she stops it from happening, she can't learn it.
No, but why let herself be turned to stone when she easily could have beaten, what's his name?
Well, she didn't know what it was going to do.
Gallon. I don't know. With the power of time that she has and the fact that the demons fear the place that she's from, I feel like she could have done a lot more than pretend to be.
Well, I said half of it's just explained by the fact that she doesn't want to stop it because she just wants to learn all about it. If she stops it, she's not going to learn.
And see, I see what you both are saying right there. Like, I would have thought that, like in regard, when you have like this situation with Galland, is that Meliodas had to warn her and to say no, that won't work. And you would have thought that he would have already like explained to her, or that she would have already known what Galland of Truth's abilities were if she lied to him. But I also agree with like what Ben said. Like maybe that's her nature, so maybe she wanted to be petrified and do that. Yeah, I don't know. I agree on both parts.
I guess it's because she wanted to learn, but like if she fought or if she was around at the time during this war, she probably should have already known what all their powers are. Like, you don't think she would have studied the Ten Commandments powers to learn what they all do?
Yeah, but if she hadn't seen them in action, studying them is just one part of the experiment.
But she would still know. She would know if you lied to Galland, this is what would happen to you. She should know something like that.
Maybe she thought she'd made a counter.
I don't know. It's just like my problem with Escanor. He's so powerful, but yet he didn't kill anybody, even though he took out 5 of them by himself.
So like, you guys are a bit further ahead in the manga. Does any of this stuff make sense?
I haven't read the manga. I'm just reading stuff online.
Oh, because like that was my issue. I really love the 7 Deadly Sins anime, like, and the second season was just fucking awesome.
The second season,
it really was
10 times better than the first.
No, I really think I will read the manga because I want to find out more about this stuff.
Well, we may get a 3rd season of the anime as well.
Yeah,
are they?
We may. Nothing has been announced, but there's enough in the manga to be able to do it.
Okay, I'm hoping that we do because there's.
As far as I know, he's done writing it. Like, he finished the story.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The manga writer. So that's why I said I don't think there is going to be a 3rd season, because I didn't know if he had written past this.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, he has quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff we're not telling you.
Yay.
And see, that's what I'm wondering, because this, what I wanted to say is that this anime it's basically, how can I relate it to? It's like reading a Dan Brown book, where they just kind of spoon feed you and IV drip you information like Attack on Titan does, and they keep building up all these mysteries and all these mysteries and all these mysteries, and then they kind of answer some of them. Maybe you'll get lucky before the next season, but they ask a lot more, and that's to keep you, watching the season. Like during the part where Meliodas had died, I had to binge watch that part because I'm like, there's no way I can't leave this unknown. I've got to know what happened. Damn it. and like, it forces you to keep going, and that's not really a good thing to fall back on. But I mean, it works for this anime, and I like it. But there are a lot of unanswered things, and sometimes things that just kind of don't make sense. And I'm wondering, like, do some of these things start to make more sense? Like, does it come together cohesively as a whole towards the end of, I guess, the manga, or for those in the know? Because it feels like we're still looking forward to an exciting 3rd season and grand finale, but I want to I'm going to be pissed if none of this is justified. Like, I don't want to feel let down right now,
I have no idea.
and like I'm sure I will.
catched a few things when I was trying to find stuff on on while we were talking about the abilities that we didn't know about.
So we know what is it? 4 of the commandments, right? The 2 brothers, Meliodas' brothers,
Esterosa and Zildris, they're still alive.
Yeah, Drool and Glycemia are still alive, and the girl that Escanor set on fire.
Yeah, Melascula is somehow still alive after having her neck broken and her heart's destroyed by a bomb.
Right. Yeah,
poor girl.
So 5 of them are still alive. So half of the sin or the commandments are dead, and the other half still live.
I still feel kind of cheap.
6 if you count Gother.
Well,
6 if you count Gother, yeah.
And there's still a big question mark over Gother. Like, where does his role fit in? What did he?
Yeah, because at the end, Gother remembers who he is.
I don't know if he does. I think.
I don't know. He mentions who he is at the end. He says, "I am the 10 Commandments."
Yeah. He says, "I'm Gother of the 10 Commandments."
Yeah, but well, maybe. It was just the way that it was. How can I put it? I don't think it was that on the nose, because he was just repeating back what they said.
But it's the look in his eyes that he had.
It's the look in his eyes, yeah. So, again, it's like, I don't know, because they don't come out and say it. That's what they do with this fucking series, is they never come out and say anything. It's always just like, poke, oh, what do you think? Do you think maybe this is some truth? Nope. Oh, what do you think? It gets kind of frustrating to watch. As fun as it is, as absolutely fun as this anime is, it gets frustrating to watch during the middle of the season. I'm actually glad they're doing it on Netflix, because if they did this by like a week-by-week episode, I would fucking hate life. like I do with Attack on Titan.
Yeah. We should quickly say what happened with Dreyfus. So Dreyfus fights Hendrickson after he runs away from Merlin. Zalotros comes in to help them. Dreyfus is just a little too powerful for them, so Zalotros decides to sacrifice himself to free Dreyfus of the demon that's controlling him, which he does. The demon finally reveals himself to Faldrin. He's pretty much about to kill them. Meliodas shows up, beats the shit out of him, and then he pretty much creates this orb around him, and he's about to self-destruct, which is going to kill everybody that's around him.
Well, he doesn't create the orb. But he's about to self-destruct, and Griamore, in his youth form, which you'll remember he was in after his training with the Druids.
Oh, yes.
He jumps in and basically said, for Aldrin, no, don't do that. Don't hurt these people. And for Aldrin, of selflessness, realizes that after having control over Dreyfus for so many years, and basically pretending to be the father for so many years to Griamore, that he actually cares about Griamore. Because Griamore had put that orb up. It's his, I forget the name of the spell, but it's like basically Griamore's perfect defense spell. And he puts it around himself and Feraldrin, so it would have only killed them if he had blown himself up. And Feraldrin can't do it, because he views Griamore as a son. And this is where we see the giant leap of character growth from Feraldrin, and that now he understands finally what Gother was trying to tell him all those years ago about why Meliodas betrayed them, about finding something in your life worth fighting for and something worth protecting. And so, like he suddenly grew, and he suddenly understood what it felt like to be human. And then he understood what he'd done to Meliodas by killing Liz. And he stops, Griamore puts down the orb, he walks up to Meliodas, and he's basically like, kill me. Like, I deserve to be punished for what I've done. And this is where we see the result of Meliodas' sin. And now that he's back, he has more of his father's power, the Demon King's power, and without hesitating, he just fucking kills Feraldrin. Like just fucking super uppercuts him and destroys him, turns him into ash. And
I think that moment is a huge hint at where it's gonna go.
Yes.
Because you saw Bond's face when he mercilessly, just without mercy, just murdered him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to me, I know you, Klaus, you're further ahead, but to me, I think Bond realized that when this is all said and done, he's going to have to take it upon himself to kill Meliodas. Because Meliodas cannot become what he used to be. And Meliodas knows that eventually he's going to become that. There's no stopping it. He's just postponing.
Yeah, and there's a nice little scene later on we can get to that he admits that he's afraid of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like he basically breaks down in Liz's arms at their little. The boar hat is in shambles after this whole event. And he's sitting by the fire, and Liz comes up and joins him, and he finally breaks down in front of her. Like, he finally starts crying and leans into her for strength, because he's afraid of himself, and he knows, too, like you're saying, Gary, where this is probably going to end up.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And that's kind of where we're left off with. Oh, and a hilarious scene with Grimoire growing up again.
Oh, my.
I died. So goddamn funny.
Restored by the kiss of the one he loves.
Yep. I forget the princess's name, but he was still a child, and Hendrix and Dreyfus were talking. During the sunset or whatever, they're finally having their heart-to-heart after Dreyfus got his body back. And so what was the training? And it had to happen because he had to know what it was to be a child with Dreyfus and blah blah blah. But yeah, his true love, and it was the princess. And you're such a cutie. Well, his clothes didn't grow with him. And that scene, just that one shot from behind her, and it's her head, it's the back of her head, and it zooms out, and she's just like this teeny thing in front of Grimoire's giantness, and they don't show it obviously, but her head's like in his crotch, and he's just massive compared to her. And then her other, I forget her name, the caretaker, or her sister, whoever the hell it was,
walks in.
Walks in. Grimoire! Just like explodes him out the window, and there's a big naked flaming Grimoire flying out the window now. They ended kind of with things going back to normal a little bit, but still, that's
where they learned that these guys are all still alive.
Yeah,
especially the woman, because none of the people that she's brought back to life had died, which they should have died when she died. So that's how they learned that she's still.
Yeah, Elaine is now upstairs in the boar hat bed. Like her body is, and she's like Meliodas was. The body's still alive, but she's not waking up. Yeah. But what else?
We should also quickly mention Hogg's power. Through his miraculous training, he realized that he can now, anything that he eats that's alive,
that has magical power.
Magical power, yes. He gains their power.
How could we forget this? Because Hawk is like some of the best comic relief during this entire series, and like by pure chance, he ends up helping everybody out in some way.
What are you talking about? Hawk is the hero of this story.
Yes. No, you're right. Hawk is the hero,
and the strongest of the 7 deadly sins.
Ta-da! At a power level of 3,000.
I mean 3.
God. No, that scene where he eats the big like underground dwelling snake things.
Yeah,
he just like swallows it whole, and everybody's like freaking out. It's like, did he just do that?
That I gotta say, if you look during that scene when he's eating it, it's actually pretty disturbing because you can pinpoint the moment that the fish thing dies.
Yeah,
and just like when its head goes limp and its eyes roll back, like they animated that while he's eating it. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and he keeps this power of theirs up until he poops.
Yeah.
He
And
poops the
boy, does
power
he
out.
poop.
It was so great.
Well, that was a good show, everyone.
Yeah.
Have we been waxing on a little too long?
Yeah, we're going to have to end it here.
We've only been going for a couple hours. Come on.
Well,
I mean, like I said, it was a lot to go through.
but it was so good. I just, to our listeners, please definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's on
Should
Netflix.
we rate it?
Yeah, let's rate it. Gary?
Combined with the 2 seasons, I thought season 2 was a lot better than 1. I would go with an 8.5.
Chris?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I said solid 8 last week, but reminiscing about with you guys has bumped it up to an 8.5 for me too.
Klaus?
I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than you guys. I binged the first season when it came out, and when I saw the second season, and it's like, we got to watch this and review it. And like I said, so I give it a solid 9.
Nice.
Okay. I want to give it a 9.5, so.
Yes,
Because of the boobies, I knew it.
Boobies.
I love
And
it.
the fan service panties.
Oh my
Good show.
God. Are we gonna do a recommendation this week, or save it for next week?
I think we should save it for next week, just because we're going to have to catch up with last week's and this week's anime, and this week's anime and next week's anime. So,
Okay.
Sounds good. We got some more Boruto and Fairy Tail coming.
yep. And I know we finished Attack on Titan, we.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
For now.
Until, what is it, April?
Yeah.
Or whenever, like they do.
So, Gary, you got any shout-outs?
No, just shout-outs to you guys having me on. Shout-outs to Klaus for recommending the second season, which I was holding off on for a while after it came out. Shout-out to Tim. I hope he's able to join us next week. Fonzie, as always. Yeah, that's it.
A shout-out, Klaus, have you got any shout-outs? Sorry.
Well, I'm actually very glad that you guys all enjoyed this. I was a little worried initially when I had recommended. I heard some kind of misgivings about it, but I'm glad you ended up really enjoying it like I did. But again, I want to shout you guys out. Thank you again for having me on. It's nice to be back. Shout out to everybody who's listening. And shout out to Chili for being my co-host last night on Phoenix Down Radio. You should guys go check that out at phoenixdownradio.com.
Yay, that was fun. Ish. It was Eureka, so.
Eureka!
Yay.
It was a thing.
Chris, have you got any shout-outs?
Friends, fans, family, you guys, thank you so much. I loved finally being able to have a chance to talk about this anime because, like you, Klaus, I also absolutely loved it. Had watched it beforehand and was super excited for the second season. To everybody who is normally here or sometimes here but is not here, like Tim and Alphonse and Neil, love you guys, miss you guys, and yeah, if anybody wants to follow me, you can reach me at Twitter at Devangel, Devangiel.
I'd like to shout out to Work to Game for letting me on their podcast. Shout out to SheHealsITank at twitch.tv/SheHealsITank. Congratulations on reaching 500 followers. A shout out to Maelstrom Radio, twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. Shout out to Moogle Go Around Radio, twitch.tv/Moogle Go Around Radio. Shout out to Phoenix Down Radio with the amazing Klaus, Sarah, and I guess me. Twitch.tv/Phoenix Down Radio. Also, yeah, good show, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Until next week, go get more stickers because of the boobs. Bye.
Bye.